There exists a concealed truth that set history's greatest warrior apart from common men, and 99% of men today lack the fortitude to implement it. Miyamoto Musashi emerged victorious in 60 lethal duels, remained undefeated throughout his life, and passed away invincible at 62. Yet what he uncovered regarding male vulnerability will astonish you. Consider what he wrote before his death. The majority of men become pitiful because they become enslaved to 3 elements that corrode them internally. And friend, when you discover these 3 elements, you'll comprehend why you might count yourself among them. However, before I disclose these 3 fatal vulnerabilities, I request that you subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and enable notifications to receive our upcoming content. Now, returning to our discussion, I want to clarify who Musashi truly was, because the familiar narrative merely scratches the surface. Miyamoto Musashi entered the world in 1584 during feudal Japan's most violent era. At 13, he claimed his first life. By 16, his reputation as an unstoppable force of destruction was already established. But here's what remains untold. Musashi wasn't merely a combatant, he was a psychological predator. He meticulously examined his adversaries' mental states. He identified their vulnerabilities, their anxieties, their insecurities. Then he psychologically dismantled them before ever unsheathing his blade. A Japanese history scholar from the University of Tokyo shared something that sent shivers through me. Musashi didn't achieve victory through superior speed or strength. He prevailed because he grasped something about human nature that his adversaries didn't even know existed. And that revelation transformed everything for him. So what are these 3 vulnerabilities that Musashi pinpointed? During his final years, he composed a work titled Dokudo, The Way of Walking Alone. Within that text, he revealed the 3 vulnerabilities that destroy any man. First vulnerability: approval dependency. Musashi stated, "Never seek to be loved by everyone." And observe how insightful this is. He recognized that approval-seeking functions precisely as an addiction. What does this mean? Simply this. When someone praises you, your brain releases dopamine, the identical substance released by narcotics. Like any addict, you require increasingly larger doses to feel adequate. This explains why you witness men doing anything for likes, for comments, for recognition. They've become hooked on external validation. Musashi recognized this 4 centuries ago. He wrote, "When you require others' approval to feel worthy, you have surrendered your authority to them. And a man without authority is merely a specter." Second vulnerability: avoiding hardship. Accept everything as it is. Musashi wrote this because he understood something brutally honest about human nature. Most men spend their existence fleeing from truth, running from challenging discussions, from crucial choices, from obligations, from anything producing discomfort. And do you realize what happens when you constantly run? You become feeble, because strength emerges exclusively through hardship. A neuroscience expert with 2 decades of experience articulated this in a way that impacted me deeply. The human brain develops new neural connections only when pushed beyond its comfort zone. Men who evade hardship literally halt their mental development. Musashi understood this. That's why he deliberately pursued uncomfortable circumstances. Third vulnerability: enslavement to impulses. And here arrives the most devastating revelation. Let go of desire. Wrote this because he discovered that while your impulses control you, you're merely an instinct-driven creature, not a man. Consider this. How many men do you know who are entirely governed by unbridled sexual urges, cravings for food, for entertainment, for alcohol, for affirmation? These individuals believe themselves free, yet they're enslaved by their own impulses. Musashi surpassed this. He became sovereign over his own desires. And when you govern your desires instead of being governed by them, you become unstoppable. Yet this merely scratches the surface of his uncompromising wisdom. Musashi developed a practice he termed forging through isolation. And friend, this surpasses anything you've encountered. The path of complete seclusion. Following his initial battles, Musashi made an extreme choice. He would dedicate years to complete solitude. No women, no intimate companions, no relatives, no diversions or emotional backing. Why? Because he grasped a truth that will make your skin tingle. A man discovers his authentic power only when no one remains to rescue him. He trained alone among mountains, meditated alone within caves, confronted his terrors utterly alone. And do you know what he uncovered during that journey? The 3 internal adversaries. Musashi identified that every man harbors 3 internal adversaries blocking his path to greatness. Adversary 1, the voice of uncertainty. That whisper saying you're insufficient, you'll fail. You don't. Adversary 2, the voice of dependency. You require others to feel whole. You cannot exist alone. You need validation. Adversary 3, the voice of terror. What if you fail? What if you're rejected? What if everything vanishes? Throughout his isolation journey, Musashi waged relentless war against these 3 adversaries, and he emerged completely victorious. The practice of daily mortality. Yet there's a method he created that's even more intense. Musashi maintained a practice he called living death. Each morning at sunrise, he would sit in contemplation and visualize his own demise in vivid detail. He envisioned his body pierced by a blade, blood flowing, existence fading. Does this sound morbid? It isn't. It's the most intelligent practice possible. Because when you fully embrace your mortality, you cease fearing life. A cognitive therapy specialist explained this brilliantly. Death anxiety underlies all other fears. When you transcend death anxiety, you transcend all fears. And precisely this transformation occurred with Musashi, yet the most remarkable metamorphosis remained. Following years of this intense self-discipline journey, something extraordinary happened to Musashi. He became genuinely unstoppable. The emergence of the flawless warrior. When Musashi re-entered society, he was fundamentally transformed. His opponents reported something unsettling. Before combat even started, they already sensed their defeat. How was this possible? Simply this: Musashi projected such self-assurance, such an intimidating presence that he mentally crushed his adversaries. One samurai who faced Musashi and survived, yes, he occasionally showed mercy, said something that left me speechless. Gazing into Musashi's eyes was like peering into an endless void. You sensed you were looking at someone who had completely surpassed fear, and that was terrifying. The 5 principles of invincibility. During this metamorphosis, Musashi formulated 5 principles he considered essential for any man pursuing authentic strength. Principle 1: embrace solitude as your supreme instructor. He discovered that in isolation you genuinely encounter yourself. No diversions, no one to impress, merely you confronting your unvarnished truth. Principle 2: transform hardship into fuel. While others flee hardship, you must welcome it because strength is born within hardship. Principle 3: eliminate your emotional dependencies. The need for approval, for validation, for affection, for acceptance, all of this creates dependency and weakness. Principle 4: exist as if already deceased. When you embrace mortality, you liberate yourself from fear, and without fear, nothing becomes impossible. Principle 5: become sovereign over your impulses. Complete command over sexual urges, hunger, anger, indolence, any primitive drive. The ultimate validation. Yet the genuine evidence of Musashi's metamorphosis came during history's most legendary confrontation. The battle against Sasaki Kojiro, regarded as Japan's second greatest swordsman. And Musashi's strategy was brilliant. He arrived 3 hours late to the duel. Why? To psychologically dismantle his opponent. While Kojiro waited anxiously on the shoreline, Musashi calmly carved a wooden blade from a boat oar. When he finally appeared, Kojiro was already mentally defeated. The confrontation lasted under 30 seconds. Yet the most remarkable aspect occurred after victory. Having achieved invincibility, Musashi revealed certain truths that will astonish you. The reality of masculine power. Musashi wrote something contradicting everything you've learned about manhood. Authentic masculine power doesn't come from dominating others. It comes from dominating yourself, and he demonstrated this unmistakably. During his final 2 decades, Musashi never killed again. Though constantly challenged, he discovered methods to prevail without killing. Why? Because he had surpassed the need to demonstrate his power to others. The hidden principles of powerful men. Throughout his isolation years, Musashi discovered what he termed the hidden principles of powerful men. Principle 1. Powerful men don't need to appear powerful. They're so secure within themselves that they feel no urge to prove anything to anyone. Principle 2. Powerful men command patience. They can wait years, decades for the optimal moment because they recognize that rushing indicates weakness. Principle 3. Powerful men don't fear being incorrect. They adjust their views when presented with new information. Fragile egos insist on perpetual correctness. Principle 4. Powerful men safeguard their vulnerabilities. They know precisely where they're exposed and work relentlessly to reinforce those areas. Principle 5. Powerful men remain unpredictable. They never establish patterns others can exploit. They consistently preserve an element of mystery, the most unsettling revelation. Yet Musashi's darkest discovery concerned masculine competition's nature. He recognized that 90% of men aren't genuinely competing to win, they're competing to avoid defeat. And that's the distinction between hunter and hunted. Hunters strike to claim, prey defend to survive. Musashi became the ultimate hunter because while his opponents fought to survive, he fought to conquer. The brutal mental exercise. Musashi developed a mental exercise he used to evaluate his own strength. He imagined losing everything, his reputation, his wealth, his belongings, his well-being, all familiar people. Then he asked himself, if I lost everything, would I still be a powerful man? The response was consistently affirmative, because he had constructed such unshakable internal strength that nothing external could disturb it. And within this lies the most profound secret of all. So what's the ultimate truth Musashi discovered? Simple yet devastating. The distinction between powerful and weak men isn't in their accomplishments. It's what they can exist without. Weak men need continuous validation, endless diversions, instant gratification, external affirmation, companionship to feel complete. Powerful men can exist without all this, and precisely this is why they attract all this. The ultimate contradiction. Here's the contradiction that will astound you. When you cease needing something, you become irresistible to it. When you cease needing approval, people naturally respect you more. When you cease needing companionship, you become someone everyone wants near. When you cease needing success, you become naturally successful. Musashi discovered this 4 centuries ago and it remains accurate today. Your crucial choice, so now you face a decision. You can close this video, resume your ordinary existence and remain merely another average man. Or you can embrace Musashi's challenge and commence your metamorphosis journey today. If you've reached this point, you've already demonstrated your difference from 95% of men, most abandoned within the initial minutes, but not you. You desire genuine metamorphosis, the definitive pledge. If you're prepared for this journey, I want you to perform one action. In the comments section, simply write, "I embrace Musashi's challenge." This represents your public pledge to your own metamorphosis, and subscribe to the channel immediately because each week I deliver the secrets of history's most powerful men. Because weak men pursue comfort, powerful men pursue growth. And always remember, the path of power is the path of isolation, yet at this journey's conclusion, you won't be isolated, you'll be complete.